Travis Fox here with foxoptic.com. Today I'm going to be going over the new gallery feature in the latest firmware version ATN has put out, 767. If you bought your scope recently from us, we do the upgrades on them before we send them out, so it would have already had it. If you want to do that, you go to atncorp.com to download the latest firmware. If you buy one in the future, of course, we do the upgrades before we send them out again, so it will have it. On the side of your scope, under your port cover, in the front, there is a micro HDMI input port. So there's a couple of different ways to use a gallery. I'm going to show you a couple. One thing I'm going to tell you is you're going to have a micro HDMI connect in order to be able to get into that port. So, like, I have a dedicated micro HDMI cord, but I'm really a big fan of these little whips here. Essentially, it takes you from HDMI, standard HDMI, down to the micro. So if you've already got a Blu-ray player, a DVD player, or something that you're running HDMI off, instead of having to run a cord back in behind your television, if you want to use the scope itself as a player, this thing will allow you to just take a standard HDMI, clip the two in there so that you don't have to get clear back in behind the TV and plug that straight into the scope so that you can use an existing cord coming out. So I've got one hooked up here. I'm going to go ahead and hook it up into the scope so that we can see what's going on inside the scope as I'm going through and explaining this gallery to you. So we're going to go into the menu, and again, I'm tethered off to the television, so when you're tethered that way, it's gonna kill the internal display on the scope because the video card can only send one output signal. But we're gonna gain exactly what we would have seen through the scope on the television screen. So I'm headed over here to the new gallery feature. When we click into that, as you can see, I've got the option of choosing all, just my photos, or just my videos. So, like, if I would want to play any of those, like in this particular case, I'm going to start with photos. I'm using the top buttons on the scope, obviously, just the left, rights to get around there. So, like right now, when I came in, I was on all. I used the right arrow key to get over to photos. I'm going to go down and highlight this first picture. I'm going to hit the center button to bring that photo up. That's a photo I shot of the moon. I actually did that with the X-Sight spotting scope, but I put it on this card. It was on this card. So if you want to scroll through your images, you can use your left, right arrow keys directly on the scope. So, like, I'm going to go to the next image by hitting the right arrow key. One more image, right arrow key again, right arrow key again. So if I'm done viewing those images, I can hit the center button to come back to the menu. So now if I want to look at my videos, I'm going to use the up arrow key to get back up on my tab line. I'm over here on videos. I'm coming down. I'm going to select that first one. So as you can see, that video, I'm in a bench rest there, so you can't really hardly tell it's a video, but it is a live video shot through the scope. I'm going to hit a right arrow key again to go to the next video. Here I was actually testing an IR that barrel's about 150 yards away. I was just showing you the video here mainly. So anyways, I'm going to hit the center button to get out of there again. If you're connected via the micro HDMI, when you go to disconnect, you're going to have to come up here to the top, left arrow back until you get back to that back. When you hit this select, it's going to tell you need to unplug your HDMI cord before you can get out of there. So I'm going to unplug that cord right now. And at this point, I am back to the scope. Now I'm going to turn around and I'm going to show you on the Obsidian app, which I will have to turn the Wi-Fi on inside the scope here real quick. It'll take me just a second. I gotta get exited out. So I've got the Wi-Fi turned on in the scope. I'm gonna open my Obsidian application up. It's right here. inside of the Obsidian app, you're going to have a couple of choices. I've already connected via the Wi-Fi to this. I will go over using the application in a different video. Right now I'm just going to touch on the gallery. So inside you're going to have two ways to get from gallery. If you're in the actual viewfinder out in the field using a tablet and you wanted to take a look at your images, there is actually a gallery tab directly inside of the application that would allow you to access and view them quick. You could either do that via a pad device, or you can do it directly through the display inside of the scope, similar to what I was doing on the television earlier. So like in this case, I'm going to come back out because I think they're a little easier to understand from out here. At the beginning of your application file, you have a My Media library right here. If you click on that, that will give you the ability to manipulate images and access them directly from your padded device. Again, I can click on them. If I want to switch and download those to the device that I'm using, or store them on the device I'm using, I can come in under my Excite. I can select which ones that I would like to download to my device. So say in this particular case I wanted to download these two, I'm going to hit my download button. Now that it's downloaded them, they're going to be inside the gallery on the pad device itself. So in the future I wouldn't have to have the scope hooked up when I would come into the application from out here. Obviously, if the scope wasn't tethered via Wi-Fi, I would get nothing over here because I wouldn't be able to view that, but when I hit here, I would have them saved on this device. So that's just kind of trying to give you a quick overview of how the actual new gallery feature works. It's really slick. It adds a lot of functionality to the Excite. I think where it's going to be a really big benefit more than anything is being able out in the field to kind of view and decide, you know, if you were able to capture images, you know, potentially get rid of some if you are taking a lot of video or your card's getting close to full. You know, just being able to manipulate them and see them from within the scope and or via the application. The other big benefit to it obviously is allowing you to hook up the HDMI and view them rather than have to pull the card in and out all the time. So if you have any questions on how that works, feel free to give me a call, toll free 877-806-2977. Be sure and check our website out, www.foxoptic.com. Again, we have the ATN Excite bundle kit packages. 3 to 14s are $5.99 and the 5 to 20s are $6.99 is where our package kit starts. We try to include everything that you're going to need to get up and operational. I can't reiterate enough, if you have any questions at all, give me a call toll free. I'd be more than happy to talk to you. Thanks a lot, and you have a great evening.